and welcome to an episode of From My Mother's Basement, the show where we talk about everything nerd, be it anime, manga, sci-fi, tech, comics, you name it. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael, coming from my Toshiba Cosmeo laptop this week.
You gotta, actually, yeah, because I can tell because it's a different angle, and you're actually full screen now.
Wow.
Oh, God. So how you been, Michael? What have you been up to?
Aside from my tower deciding it wants to take a crap at the last minute.
Yeah.
But, you know, say levy. I'll fix it after show.
Okay.
Really sad, because that's really going on those renders, too, man.
It was how close do you think we were done with that render?
Well, the one that I had to interrupt?
Yeah.
It had just gotten past, it was at the very end of the hairline, and the rest of it would have just zipped through. But hair
takes a hell of a long time
oh
to render.
My God, that'll slowly drag a render to its knees.
I think I remember reading somewhere, and you correct me if I'm wrong if you actually know this, for the movie Monsters, Inc., Sully's hair was just so elaborate, and there was so much there. Like, each scene, or each frame took, like, what, 12 hours to render?
For that, well, especially the scene where he's laying down, and he breathes on it, and it moves.
Yeah.
Which is basically Pixar flexing their E-peen saying, yes, we can do proper hair. Worship us. And boy, did they flex their E-peen. Yeah, those took like 12 hours a pop to render.
Yeah, so it was something like...
At the time. Nowadays, it would probably take like 3 or 4 hours to render. Although with what they did on Brave...
The different layers and all the different gravity fields they put together for it.
Yeah, they just... Wow. They are the masters of hair.
Hey, when you're the best, you have to keep on innovating like stuff like that.
That's true. That's true.
But let's talk about some interesting news in the world of... let's talk about J-pop. Let's talk about a person named maybe called Gact.
The 400-year vampire, yes.
Who has done everything possible to keep his personal life hidden and just keep as mysterious as humanly capable in
all while
the
trying
world today.
To maintain his rock star image. Yeah.
And failed miserably this past week.
Yeah, that's kind of... Yeah, though what's funny is it's well, okay, so for those who don't know, there's I don't remember who was bringing the suit, but basically Gact, formerly original lead singer of Malice Miser, solo artist, member of the one show lived 20-minute performance Skin. I'm sorry, 20 minutes of screaming, who am I, who are we are Skin.
Yeah. We're going to do a great concert, and we'll do 3 songs and then play the first song again.
Yeah. But anyway, memories.
Let's never talk about 2007, shall we?
The con that shall not be named.
Someone figuring in the chat, yes, Gact was the original Malice Miser singer, and then he went solo, and then he tried to get more popular, more mysterious, which he did for a time being.
And he was actually going around saying on interviews that he was a 400-year-old vampire,
and saying it deadpan, like
totally serious. You know, it's like, yeah, he's an interesting guy. Anyway, he got busted for tax evasion, or is getting busted for tax evasion, and fathering an illegitimate child in another country. Woo!
Yep.
You know, all he has to do is get drunk driving murder, and he's got the full triple threat.
The whole thing about the child, I was reading the information about that. When he was working on the TBSK show Wonderful, he was he had a relationship with an assistant back then. This was still in Japan, and then they found that she was pregnant. Gact and his manager basically said, "You need to leave Japan now," and they flew her. They flew her and her unborn child and put her up in a nice apartment in Canada. Just so that the word that he has an illegitimate child would never surface in Japan.
Is that the one they're talking about in that article? Is the one in Canada? Oh my God!
I mean, it's not the point that he had
I was just looking forward to Gact walking around learning to say "a" all the time. The 400-year-old vampire, eh?
Oh, holy crap!
How do you say poutine in Japanese? Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, so aside from all that, they even confiscated his cell phone, most of his records. They, of course, entered in his house with the warrant to search everything, which is also the head office for his entertainment business. So they had all of that in one spot. They just walked in, with tons of boxes, grabbed a bunch of crap. And the thing is, apparently, GACT pays an additional additional tax of 120 million yen to avoid these kinds of investigations. Apparently, there's a level in the government of Japan that if you pay a certain amount of extra every year, regardless of if you run into any financial or legal problems, they can't do investigations like this into your background and your taxes. And even though he paid for that,
he paid the unofficial bribe tax.
Yeah, 120 million yen every single year.
Wow.
And then they still said, "Screw you, we're coming in anyways." And all of this came out.
You know what? He had a good run.
He did.
15, 20 years. I mean,
I really don't see how he could easily, if ever, make a comeback.
Canada, where secrets go to die. Yeah.
And
or sci-fi TV shows.
Also, we'll hear, yes, GACT has found a mansion in Canada all of a sudden. He's no longer coming back to Japan. I feel bad for that kid now.
I do in some ways, but I don't in others. Because, okay, they put the kid in Does Canada have anchor laws?
I have no idea.
I wonder. Because if Canada has anchor baby laws like the U.S. does, then that makes GACT even more responsible for the child as a Canadian citizen.
He is paying for the apartment. Wow, really? It's apparently a very nice apartment because he pays a so-called trivial 400,000 yen a month in rent for the place, and has been doing so ever since they moved over there.
So 400,000 yen basically comes out to 4,000 a month.
That's a nice apartment.
Considering I'm paying
most mortgages from people
I'm paying
that I know,
$1,400 for my 2-bedroom. I mean,
when I was still in an apartment, I was paying $1,800 a month for a decent 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's wow.
Oh
well. So long, GACT. You had a good run.
No, you know what? Honestly, what I think is going to happen is I don't think it's going to phase him. I honestly don't.
You don't think it's going to phase him?
No, I mean there'll be some issue, and yeah, he's gonna, they're gonna whack his pee-pee and everything, but he'll probably enjoy it. But the whacking anyway. But he
at its finest.
Have you listened to the lyrics of some of his songs?
Yeah.
Or seen some of his video? But that aside, no, I mean it's going to be a pain in the ass for him for a little while, and not the kind he enjoys. But he may lose a few fans over it. He's not going to be projected into quite as many fantasies now, maybe. But realistically, with as much money as he's got, with the fact that, Malice Miser and all his other stuff is still making bank today,
he'll still be well off. I'm just wondering.
He's not going to be hurting. Whether it'll hurt his career,
that's the whole thing I want to wonder. Is it going to actually hurt his career?
If he handles it smartly, it'll be a bump in the road.
But again, this is a guy who also goes to the interviews and says, "I'm a 400-year-old vampire."
But there's nothing that says you can't be a 400-year-old vampire with remorse.
Okay, you got a good point there.
It's if he pulls the whole "I am GACT, you can't touch me, I am invincible, blah blah blah, fuck you all, you are peons."
Oh, the Michael Jackson movement. Okay, gotcha.
No, Jackson wasn't that bad.
His fans were.
Despite the Jesus juice. But it hinges on how he handles it. If he handles it smartly, it'll be a bump in the road.
Yeah.
If it's pompous and idiotic, it's going to cost him.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll get more information about this as it, is released from Japan. So I'm sure it'll be on multitudes of websites. So
the Schadenfreude is too irresistible.
Oh God! Oh, it's fantastic. On a side note, before I was going to jump to the G4 news, did you happen to catch the VMAs?
No, I had to work.
Oh, okay.
Did he perform?
No, not really.
Damn.
I only caught the replay of it like at 2:00 in the morning.
Huh?
I only tuned in just for that part because the rest of it I can give a
Was he
rat's
just
ass about.
presenting? What?
No, the host came. They had on a riser. The host came up with Psy dancing, Gangnam Style.
Okay, so let's explain what's going on here first. For those who
Okay.
know what we're talking about. Psy, aka Gundam Style or Gundam Style,
Gundam
the
Style.
artist who does that, was in the States, and he signed on to the same record label that Justin Bieber's on. Fortunately, it does not sound like they were doing. I didn't see any mention of a collaboration between Bieber and Psy because that would just be really sad. But he, as part of it, they announced that Psy was going to appear at the VMAs, the MTV VMAs, which were last night. But they didn't say if he was going to be presenting or just popping his head up, waving and saying hi, or if he was going to be doing a performance. So that was all up in the air.
Well, I'm looking online, and apparently in the pre-show, he joined up with a group called The Wanted and did a performance there. But as far as during the actual performance, I may have... Oh,
So
God.
he was in the pre-show?
Yeah, he was in the pre-show, but then he did a thing during...
Oh, see, now I have to go scour YouTube.
That's what I'm doing right now. That's why I only have the video on you right now, because I'm trying to find one.
Because
And everything I'm seeing right now is just people putting their cameras at the TV. There's nothing decent.
Because if he actually did Gangnam Style in front of an MTV audience...
Well, the thing is,
and
when
they danced,
what happened was... it was the host and Psy. They came up on a riser mid-stage, dancing to the song, which was blasting throughout the entire. I think it was Staples Center. Then they did, the host. I forget who the hell it was. Kevin Hart, I think it was. Like, hey, so Psy, you've been doing amazing. The 100 million YouTube vids, and how are you doing? And Psy decides to respond in straight Korean, and Kevin's like, the hell's going on? And then Psy responds in English, and he goes, why the hell did you say that in the first place? Just basically trolling him there. And then they danced again as the riser went down. That's all it was.
Nice. Hey, you know what, though? It's a step. It's a step.
It is.
It make the way for more goofy videos.
Yeah, and the fact that now he's signed in the States, you're going to see a lot more goofy stuff coming down the line.
I want to see what's going to happen with it. That should be fun.
All right. Well, let's talk about the supposed destruction or final destruction of G4. A lot of people say G4 has died since it was acquired by Tech TV.
No, it was the
other way around. Sorry, Tech TV was
G4
bought up by
killed
G4.
Tech TV.
You're right.
And it did.
Oh,
it killed it viciously.
Screensavers, how I miss you.
I do. I miss the screensavers very.
That's why I watch Twit and I watch Leo.
But yeah, they shuffled up. They did a bunch of shuffling in the hierarchies at NBC Universal. And one of the marketing guys, I want to say, was from E!
I was just looking.
I don't remember.
Variety had the article.
Yeah, they moved one of their marketing guys over and put him in charge of G4. Well, they're looking at G4 going, oh, well, this needs to be,
Adam
more...
Stotsky is his name.
Yeah, they wanted to... Basically what they're trying to do is they're going to make it a slightly higher class Spike channel.
Yeah.
It's going to be changed from G... Are they actually changing the name to GQ? I don't remember.
They haven't said anything. Basically, everything's stating that it could involve a name change, but it's definitely going to take G4 in a direction reminiscent of GQ. So they still want to keep apparently a modern male rebranding. So there will still be something dealing with tech and video games. So I think the only thing that you're probably going to keep out of this is maybe Attack of the Show and Ninja Warrior. Yeah.
As far as and actually G4 is the argument that's Samfugu just put up in the chat room. Yeah, you can state that it's already Spike TV in the sense that it's a male centric,
and they show nothing but cops,
and they show lots of cops and cheaters and stupid shit like that.
Yeah, I hate
but
that
it's
shit.
Different stupid shit than what's on Spike.
Yeah,
Spike is total herp derp testosterone poison redneck television.
Yep,
90% of it. It has a few exceptions, like 1001 Ways to Die does have some incredibly funny stories, but for the most part, it's largely like the like those true TV shows, World's Dumbest, that they like to show a
Kind
ton
of, yeah,
of.
almost like the Darwin Awards kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. It's like, okay, well, let's see. There's a guy who should never breed. There's a guy who should never
Yeah.
breed. Oh my God, it bred, kill it. I
Hmm.
mean, it's
Case in point, that Honey Boo Boo thing.
oh, Honey Boo Boo Child's not on G4
I know. I'm just
or
saying that.
Spike. Thank
I'm just
God.
side thing, but I see that. I can see why NBC wants to go for like a modern male, like trying to be a little more, not elitist, but
Okay, if you're trying to go sophisticated,
yeah,
if
like
you're trying to
because
go a little more upscale, sophisticated, okay, but
that's what they're gonna have to do. Try to stand out now in a genre that is already filled. I mean, you like you said, you have Spike, which is go to for testosterone plenty. You have Velocity, which is just everything about
Velocity's
cars.
yeah,
I do like Velocity
some
for a couple
bullshit
of
on
things.
Velocity.
Um, I mean, hell, even History and A&E have been trying to tap into that market for a while now.
Oh, the Hitler Channel's been doing it too. I'm sorry. Is it History or Military? It's the Hitler Channel. It's History Channel.
Yes,
The Hitler Channel. Yeah.
yes. But I mean, this is not the only channel that NBC Universal has actually been changing or upscaling in the past. They did something with Style Network back in 2011. They also rebranded to be more about everything pop news, and they actually just I think someone recently announced an actual new anchor team to try to be out there for the latest and greatest pop culture news. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And of course, all these channels are in the same friggin' building.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
So it makes sense on the NBC's business side to the upper end. Like, okay, if we kind of move G4 away from that so-called childish demographic, we're gonna and merge it with everything else. Everything will be easier for us because we can actually move people from channel to channel, and it wouldn't be a big hit.
yeah. And there must be a reason they're doing it. I mean, they're obviously they AOTS still does well,
Yeah.
albeit in the
They
earlier
only
market.
have really like 3 shows. They have AOTS, they have X-Play, and they have American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, yeah, and everything else is just kind of. Although they do run the Blade anime, so
Sure, they did have the partnership with Marvel for the 4 anime series, which was nice. That's probably never going to come back again, especially when they move to this new style. That's probably going to go out the door.
yeah, no, I expect that.
And I know when this
I feel sorry for our friends who work there.
yeah, and
'Cause
on a
we have
side
couple
note with
friends who
that,
work for that channel,
even
and,
though like I said, we have friends who actually work at G4, we're definitely not going to try asking for this group. Oh, what's going
No.
on? They're
No,
going to
that
be
would-
they're going to be some sort of public announcement, pretty soon. Let them handle it that side. We're not going to look for a scoop. They're working there, and I'm sure they have their own opinions on it, on what's going on.
Right.
So,
well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be see how many refugees come running to Leo.
although I gotta
Forever-
say,
forever-
Leo Laporte actually tweeted earlier about the demise of G4, and it said "Schadenfreude at its finest."
Yeah, no, it is.
It is It is
Hasn't
not a
Kemper
secret
shown up to
of
Twin
how
Bangers?
much he hates G4.
Oh, I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. But seriously, hasn't Pereira been on Twit TV already?
Pereira was actually on Twit. It was a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
and he was
so-
actually Leo was as he was shown online. He actually seemed quite surprised by Kevin and his
how intelligent he can be.
yeah.
Yeah,
But of course, then again, people were saying, "Oh yeah, we'll bring on." Okay, I got a cell phone with me. I got a laptop, and here comes Kevin. I have my Tenga, and literally Leo
he
went,
actually got a Tenga
and
on
Leo
Twit.
literally went, "What's that?" And I see him go on his laptop, going, "Oh god."
Leo's got a pretty warped sense of humor, though. if you ever
Yeah,
catch
no,
him.
he's fantastic when it comes to that stuff. I love the fact that people say he's awesome, but then he'll easily turn around and say, "Yeah, you might think I'm awesome. I really appreciate that, but in reality, I'm an ass."
Yeah,
So, all right, what else should we talk about? Let's bring up this new tablet. If there isn't enough tablets information already,
you talking about the new one from Apple or the new one from Amazon?
I'm talking about a different one actually called the WikiPad.
Ah, yes, I don't know much about that.
We'll get
Sorry.
the Amazon one in just a moment, but I want to talk about this thing. Let me show you a picture of it. So this is the WikiPad. This has been out. It's been announced for a while. It's basically an Android tablet with detachable gamepad controls. This tablet, a lot of people have been wondering, okay, why do we really need to have the addition of actual controllers on a touch system?
Because playing video games on a touchscreen blows.
And most of the people who actually agree with you with that, where do they go for their games? GameStop. So, starting today, actually, September 7th, you can actually go to any GameStop and pre-order this tablet. It's going to be released, where is it at? Sometime later this year. The specs on the tablet aren't really all that bad. I mean, it's going to come up with Jelly Bean, Android 4.1. It's a 10.1-inch screen, 1200 by 800, so at least you have 720p resolution. Tegra 3, 1.4 gigahertz processor.
Single core?
The T30, so I think that's the dual. A gig of RAM, 16 gigs of flash storage, which can be expandable to 64 gigs. It also supports...
an extra 4 gigs.
64 gigs. 16 gigs of flash storage, and then additional 64 gigs.
Oh, 64 on top of that 60?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a little better.
Yeah. It'll also support the Gaikai online gaming service, and also Sony's PlayStation Mobile.
Really?
So,
okay, that's pretty cool.
The specs on this tablet aren't bad.
How much?
$499, which is right at that same price point as many of the other high-end tablets.
It's the same price point as the iPad, for sure.
It's probably not going to sell, millions and like you would expect from like a Nexus 7 or from an iPad, but I think for that group of fans who actually want to have the physical controller for playing their Android games without giving up the touch capabilities of a tablet, I think this will probably be where they'll go for. And the fact they're focusing on the pre-orders at GameStop gives them
it gives them an edge. It also depends on how they hype it. If they hype it well, I mean, show us gameplay. Pictures are sweet. Show me gameplay.
They're also saying pre-orders will include both free games and an issue of the digital edition of the GameStop's magazine Game Informer, which actually isn't bad.
Okay.
They try to throw it into everything. They even say online support is possible as well, but we don't know if online's still going to be around. So it's going to try to tap into everything.
Is it going to be Wi-Fi only, or is it going to be?
That's one thing
4G?
It didn't state. It didn't state the information on the wireless part. Even in the press release, I'm looking at it right now, and they just focus on the processor, the RAM, and the space for it. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a Tegra 3, so actually, my bad. It's actually a quad-core processor.
Oh, even better.
Yeah, so it's a quad-core, 10.1, 1280 by 800 IPS screen. It's kind of a nice little beefy little tablet.
Yeah, no, it's tablets are getting to the point where they're effectively laptops, but
at the same time, this isn't going to catch the same number of people as Amazon's latest tablet, which was announced earlier yesterday. I want to say, yesterday.
But I think it's comparing apples and oranges.
Kinda. It's going for a different
market.
Different market. We're talking about the Kindle Fire HD. Now, there's actually 2 versions of this, and we just lost Michael, so we'll try that again. Keep on going forward. The Kindle Fire HD is basically an upgrade to what they've already had before. It's jumping from the 7-inch that it had before to an 8.9-inch screen. It is going for some HD resolution, which I think is, I want to say 720p, 800. Let's try that again. Get Michael back on. And Michael's just relaunching on that. Sorry for that delay. Nightstar, I'm going to get to that in just a moment. So we'll pause real quick. Sorry about that. Bringing Michael back up in just a moment.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you, and
okay.
Let me bring you back.
Let me try and see if I can. Hey, there's signal on it, so that means I've got wireless.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that should hopefully help because I just went off of wireless. So.
Gotcha. Okay.
And we're back, boys
and
girls.
And we're talking about the. Let's start off with the Kindle HD.
Yeah.
It is a larger screen than they had for the original Kindle, which was initially 7 inches. Now this is 9. Sorry, the
Right, 'cause it's a
8.9-inch
tablet.
screen.
As I said, it's a 10-inch tablet with an almost 9-inch screen.
Yeah, basically. They're starting at 16 gigs of local storage rather than the typical 8.
Does it have and it has the option to add more, if I remember correctly, right?
I believe so. I'm bringing that up right now. Here we go. The one impressive thing about the Kindle Fire HD is its screen. It is a TI OMAP 4470 chipset, which can produce up to 1900 by 1200 pixels on an 8.9-inch screen. That's Retina quality.
That's my desktop.
Your desktop.
1920 by 1200 in that teeny little bitty living space.
It's a little more powerful than the Nexus 7. The Nexus 7 had a 1.5 gigahertz quad-core Tegra 3. Oh, my bad. I got it mixed around. Because the Kindle Fire has a 1.8 gigahertz, but it's only a dual-core. Okay, one way or the other. 1900 by 1200 resolution, 254 ppi, which I believe...
Pixels per inch, 254 ppi.
The iPad is only 264, so it's right there with that new iPad.
You're talking about but is that the iPad Retina?
Yeah, that's the Retina iPad, the iPad 3, as we're just gonna call it for whatnot.
Cool.
It has, of course, it has cameras. It only has, it has a gig of memory, so that's kind of nice. A gig of RAM, I should say. Memory flavors is 16 gig and 32 gig, nothing beyond that. It does have Wi-Fi and LTE. Here's the thing that they really got people about, was the inclusion. When you buy this and you want to pay an extra $50 for a year, you get an inclusion of 4G data. You get a 4G data plan for $50 a year.
$50? Limited or unlimited?
Limited. That's the thing. It's limited to 250 megs a month. That's nothing when you're doing 4G speeds.
I was going to say, I go through that in a week.
And the fact that you have this gorgeous, beyond 1080p HD screen, you're going to want to watch HD content.
Yeah.
And given the fact that our typical HD movie, what would
you're going to watch Game of Thrones because you want your naked chicks with dragons. I mean...
And a single episode will still run you well over a gig.
Yeah, totally.
And this is a quarter of that. Obviously, yes, you can pay a little bit more, and this is mostly designed for people who want to, check email, maybe surface a few web pages, on their tablet. But when you have, that nice of a screen, you're going to want the HD, which means a lot of people are going to be screwed when they find out after the first 30 days that, oh God, I thought I paid for, for my bandwidth. Oh no, you're being charged like 3 or 4 times the amount.
Yeah, well, the other thing, the thing with the Kindle Fire series, is I look at those things and they're aimed at soccer moms.
They really are.
They're not aimed at a lot of your hardcore geek users.
Yeah.
They're entry level devices to get people to use. I mean, they're loss leaders for one.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. Kindle's not, or Amazon's not making money on the Kindle.
No.
Amazon's making monies on the books.
Yeah, the whole thing about the Kindle itself is just basically it's a portal to their marketplace. Amazon is a store, first and foremost.
The original version. Well, the original version of it, not the original version of the Kindle, but the original version of the Amazon-based or the Android-based Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
You had to jump through a lot of hoops to get to the Android.
Yeah,
it was all boom. We're using Android as the back end, but you're only coming in through our interface.
And the thing is, during their presentation this time around for all these new gadgets, not once was Android mentioned. They have it hidden so far down, even more than before, that they just want to make sure that you're using a Kindle, not an Android tablet that's for Kindle.
Exactly. And
they had a couple cool things that they wanted to add to it that synced in with your purchases, like a new update to WhisperSync was that if you have audiobooks and the text version of a book, that it'll sync the two of them. So if you're on the road listening to an audiobook,
it'll sync the audio and the read.
Yeah, if you basically listen to an audio while you're at the gym and whatnot, and then you get home, it'll know where you stopped on the audio and flip to that page.
Is this through Amazon's audiobooks, or
Amazon.
Are they part? Well, technically, Amazon owns Audible.
They basically say anything between Amazon, but the thing is, almost everything on Audible.com is available on Amazon. So
is Amazon who owns Audible, or is it Google? No, it's Amazon.
I want to say it's Amazon, yeah.
Wow.
And they're going to sync this up with games as well. So WhisperSync before was just about ebooks. Now they're kind of expanding out to other things. But overall, yeah, this is
It's
not
a
gonna,
natural progression of things. It's going to be really cool
yeah,
potentially.
it can be.
But I'm looking. I think the WikiPad's going to be cooler than the
Yeah, the
Kindle.
Wikipad I think will do it's better for like you and I than what the Kindle Fire
Right,
can do.
exactly. It's for the geeks like us. It's going to be good. For the soccer moms, get your new Kindle.
But the thing is, there are so many announcements coming over the next couple weeks that
There's one. What the iPhone? They're anticipating iPhone 5 next
iPhone 5 is
Tuesday,
next Wednesday.
Wednesday, the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's
Um,
fun.
yeah, there's a couple other
Have
people.
you have you heard the hype? All the stuff they've been talking about the Apple invites that went out. We're
Uh,
gonna tangent hop for a second.
yeah, yeah. What about it?
Well, they're talking about, oh, what are they going to announce? Da, 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 da. Well, if you look at the way the 1 and the 2 are on the invite and the shadow from it,
Yeah, the
it's
shadow
a shadow
says
of a
it shows
5.
5.
Ooh,
Yes,
they've got to be talking about the iPhone. No shit, they're going to talk about
of
the
course.
iPhone 5, guys.
And
That's not rocket science.
the only rumor, the two rumors that are people are fighting over right now is not the fact whether they're going to announce the iPhone 5. It's going to be whether or not they're going to announce the iPad Mini at the same event because there's rumor of another event in October.
There is another. It's confirmed. There is
Yeah, there's
another event in
Okay,
October.
so that's probably for the iPad
So
Mini.
that's probably going to be the iPad Mini.
I totally forgot what.
Oh, did you hear what they're doing to the bases? They're
Uh,
changing the connectors.
Yeah,
on the
for
iPad.
finally they're going away from the 30-pin connector that they've used since the beginning.
Right, but they don't. They're not. They haven't announced what connector they're shifting to.
It's gonna be. It's everything that
I'm
all the
hoping
rumors
it's
been shown
micro USB.
online. No, everything that's been leaked online so far has been some different designs, but it's completely original design. It's a brand. There, it's
I'm actually
not
gonna.
Apple
I'm
to
gonna
actually
admit
use
that I
something like
watched
that.
AOTS today.
What was that?
I actually watched AOTS today, and they were actually talking about the Apple thing a little
Mhm.
bit. And they had Barrowman hosting, John Barrowman, who was
Yes.
awesome. But he
Courtney
was talking
actually
about.
had Berriman on the G4 Interactive
Yeah, I know, I
Stickcam
need to go
show,
watch
and
that
she was
recording.
like,
He's
I
supposed to
don't
be really
blame her whatsoever.
I've heard he's awesome to work with.
Hmm.
But he was interviewing one of the guys from CNET, and they were talking about since they're making this change on this new connector, one thing that's been going around, Barrowman was pointing out, that he lives, both in the U.S. and in Europe at various times of the year. He goes back and forth.
Right.
So, but there's a consortium something or other law thing in the EU that all smartphones have to use the same connector. They can be different on the inside,
That's right. I forgot about
but
that.
they all have to use the same connector, which in Europe is micro USB. Apple signed on to that group. So
I don't.
it's not that big of a leap. I mean, I would be willing to bet. I'm thinking that they're probably going to go micro USB, just because they don't have, that way they don't have to manufacture two different sets of phones. It saves them money.
I will actually disagree with you on that. I think what they'll do is they want their proprietary connector for the rest of the world, and when it comes to stuff that goes on with the EU on terms of the connector, they'll have an adapter. That's my honest belief. They'll have an adapter, especially for the fact that there are already so many third-party devices out there right now for all iOS devices, the iPad, iPhone, iPod, whatever. There has to be some sort of adapter for those devices as well. So it wouldn't be too much of a stretch.
That already exist,
right?
But that's for the 30 pin. The EU collective says flat out, the phone must have this connector. And I should not tap on my laptop while making it. Because I'm watching the camera. Earthquake.
Okay. There was one little one last night that people were like, "Oh my God, it's an earthquake!" I'm like, "No, it's a 3.4 in Beverly Hills. It was nothing."
Wait a minute. In Beverly, it was centered.
It was set in Beverly Hills. It was like at 2:00 in the morning. It was a 3.4 in the Richter scale.
Okay,
it was
that's actually kind of awesome.
Nothing.
Centered in Beverly Hills.
I'm sure everyone in Beverly Hills went, "Oh my fucking God!" But
I'm sure Ozzy was freaking out. Sharon.
So yeah, but let's see. So you do make a good point. I totally forgot about that issue in the EU that has to be micro USB.
I hope they do it because
Then again, Apple has been known to
thumb its nose at the world.
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
Yeah.
Especially with environmentalists. Even remember because they were a part of the initiative in the States regarding having all their stuff eco green because a lot of government facilities would only purchase equipment that was eco friendly, and that's why Apple jumped on that because they were getting a lot of
Government
contracts for that. When the new MacBook Retina came out, that's no longer. And they the day before they announced it, they dropped their support for it. They're no longer eco-friendly. They said, "Fuck you. We want to do what we want." So it would not be too much of a stretch for Apple to thumb its nose at the EU.
Rolling over his grave at that one.
Yeah,
because that was a Jobs thing.
That was a Jobs thing. Yeah.
Oh man.
So we'll see. We'll all find out in less than a week.
Oompa Loompas are rebelling.
I'm just waiting for the Google Apple lawsuit to start.
I can't wait.
That's going to be entertaining as hell.
Fun when that happens. Yeah. So let's move on. Now that we've tangent hopped all over shit.
That's what we do. Okay. What did we start off with? That was G4. Okay.
Yes,
oh no, G4, then Kindle, then iPad,
then Kindles, then WikiPad, then not in that order, but.
Let's move on to something. Let's do another gadget that you can actually buy, and this thing just looks awesome.
Which one?
It's coming, from a little-known series not many people know about called Evangelion.
Oh, that thing.
Yes. Nerve Electronics has a solution for you if you want to stay comfortable this winter. It is a brand new humidifier, and by God, it looks awesome.
It's pretty awesome, actually.
Look at that. It's freaking Nerve headquarters being attacked.
Being stomped on by Shinji.
Having a freaking tantrum attack.
You know what they need to do? Is they need to put a little gear in there and a motor so he actually stomps.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Let me get a little closer shot of you with the Ava 1 in there. That's
actually kind of cool.
That is kind of cool. I like the design. Now,
I think I know what just made the top of my fiance's Christmas list.
And the thing is, it's not really all that expensive. I'll give you the price in a moment. So we have the shot of everything. And the best thing about it,
it glows blue. That's badass.
That is badass.
That is pretty awesome.
And of course,
if you increase the pressure, will the Ava pass out and fall over?
Who knows? Spoilers. Well, the price for it, because it comes out this November.
Oh, that's not that bad for what it is.
No, $130.
That is not
9,980 yen. That is not bad for what this can do, and it just looks awesome.
I happen to have a $10,000 yen note left over from my last Japan trip.
That could be a Christmas, takes care of the Christmas present right there. There you go. And of course, if you want to have a humidifier in your car, they've already been selling USB car power outlet humidifiers.
Humidifier?
Yeah, for your car, and these are only $53.
Because your car, you can't steam the windows fast enough.
Of course, if you want to do it that way, you can always try to convince people that yes, you have a girlfriend.
I was going to say, is this for lonely nights? Park on the hill and pretend to steam the windows? Really, I've got a girlfriend on it. See, my windows are steamy.
Yeah, these ones are DC 5 volt, so they'll work right in your car. That's $53. If you want, like I said, if you want the really nice one with Nerve headquarters, that's $127. That's a really good deal for what it is.
That's cool for the geek factor alone.
Oh yeah, just the fact that
it lights up like that.
And the thing is, you could impress your friends by basically just having it off in your room in the corner and whatnot. People are like, "That's freaking awesome!" Then you press the button.
Especially with the steam coming up, catching the light, or the mist coming up. That honestly, although that kind of reminds me of like, Nerve meets Blade Runner, the opening sequence.
Kinda, yeah.
Up on the Terrell building.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty badass.
Yes, very much so. Okay, I want to talk real quick about Tiger and Bunny. Have you?
I've watched half of that show.
Okay, I've actually marathoned it a while back. Well worth it. I'm actually probably in the future we'll go rewatch it again. They've been announced that they're going to work on 2 movies. They've been announced that months ago, and Viz, I'm really happy they're doing this. For the North American premiere of the first movie, Tiger and Bunny at the Beginning, they're going to host a premiere in San Francisco, September 29th.
At their theater.
Yeah. At a
the one they own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I'm calling this win.
I'm calling this road trip.
I would love to. I would so love to. I'm sad we missed the Ava thing that happened during the J-Pop Summit.
Yeah.
But I think something like this we can definitely go to.
It'd be fun.
It's just up to San Fran. We have fun, and the tickets are only $10. So
$10 for the movie tickets are great. It's the $100 for gas, $200 for hotel.
You don't talk about that stuff. You do a one-way trip.
No, that's not going to happen until July.
Oh, okay, fine.
July, it's the one-way trip.
Ah, yes. But yeah, so Viz is going to be hosting this in New People Cinema in San Francisco. If you are in the area,
Which is a really nice facility.
it is a really nice facility.
It's not movie co nice, but it's pretty cool.
It's in the basement of the New People building, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
because the top floors are all there's Angels, Baby Stars Shine Bright,
Mm-hmm.
And another goth Japanese clothing group, and then there's an art. I've been there. It's a cool building.
Okay, yes. For those of you who can't make it and still want to participate in one way or another, from September 10th to the 28th, so starting in 3 days, Viz is actually going to host an online Tiger and Bunny cosplay contest. So there's a Facebook page for it. Just look on Viz's websites and Facebook pages. They have information, and you'll probably win some cool stuff, just because it's Tiger and Bunny, and there's a lot of cool merchandise coming out
There's
for
some
it.
cool stuff for Tiger and Bunny.
I want those figures.
I want to see somebody dress up as the flaming guy, whose power is flame.
Oh yeah, he's flaming literally.
The one who looks like Dennis Rodman. They need to do a live action Tiger and Bunny. Dennis Rodman can play that guy.
Holy shit! I was actually when I was at AX this year, they had the Tiger and Bunny panel. They had most of the voice actors up there, and they had the guy who voiced that character, and he was just like hanging out and manly voice and whatnot. He's like, "Can you voice this character?" "Oh sure, darling, it's okay." And I'm like, oh, he had fun with it. Oh, he had a blast with it. All right, let's jump on to.
I say we go visit the BBC briefly.
Yes, I was actually thinking about that. I talked about this briefly during Anna Break earlier this week, but I really wanted Michael's view on this. So, you want to talk about this first, Michael? Or should I bring it up?
Go right ahead.
Okay. All right. The BBC has a fantastic show called Doctor. No, I'm not talking about Doctor Who. That's also an awesome show.
By the same guy, though.
Yes.
Same writer.
Stephen Moffat. Unbelievably awesome guy.
Sherlock.
They worked on Sherlock. This is currently 2 seasons, 3 episodes each. They're working on the 3rd season. I think for either late this year or early 2013.
Have you seen season 2 yet?
Yes, I have. All three episodes.
I made the mistake of seeing the end of season 2 accidentally, so I know what happens. The 2 episodes before it I'm missing completely, but I know what happens at the end of 3.
That's gonna mess up a lot of things for you.
I want to see Moffat write his way out of this. It's not as bad as I want to see him write his way out of the fact that the new companion's a Dalek. That's a whole.
Yeah,
wait a minute. A spoiler. Sorry.
Spoiler alert! No.
We need to do that. We need to get like a.
We need to have a spoiler section on the show.
Oh, just so did you catch New Doctor Who?
I did. Asylum of the Daleks was awesome.
It was a pretty badass episode.
It really was.
But anyway, back to Sherlock.
Sherlock has been extremely popular worldwide. I'm surprised that it wasn't actually released or broadcasted over here in the States on BBC America.
No, they didn't. It wasn't broadcast there because
it was on PBS.
Masterpiece Theater already had the contract.
Mm-hmm.
They jumped on it.
And I believe the only reason why it didn't win an Emmy was because Downtown Abbey, I think, won it.
Downton Abbey again.
I still have to watch that series. I've never seen a single episode of Downtown Abbey.
I've never seen an episode. I hear it's good, but it's
likewise. I just need to take some time to actually watch it. But the popularity of this series has reached such a fervor pitch, especially in Japan, that there's going to be an official manga adaptation coming out later on this year, starting October 4th. And yeah,
let the slash fic fly.
Oh, there's already plenty of slash fics going on. There was actually in a recent interview with Benedict Cumberbatch, who actually plays Sherlock.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
What did I say? I say it's Benedict. My apologies.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Blah 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 blah.
Joe Cumberbatch, if you talk about it. Yes. Anyway, sorry.
Along with Martin Scorsese, I mean Freeman. And yeah, I'm horrible at names. What? I'm always horrible at names.
Well, no, what's funny is I'm looking at the way they draw them. I mean, they look kind of like they're people, which is fine, but they look like really young versions.
Really, really young versions, especially Watson.
In the show, yeah, Watson's like in his mid to late 30s, pushing 40 almost. in the series, and Sherlock is early to mid 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys, the way they draw them, looks like Sherlock's 22 and Watson's 18. I mean,
Yeah. But in an interview, he was actually stating, about so much fan fiction that's already out there for Sherlock, and then he goes to specifically state how people write stories and do manga cartoons of what they think you will get up behind closed doors. Some of it's funny, some of it's full on sex. So he's already full aware of the fandom.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And now
he has no illusions.
Oh yeah, he already knows what's going to happen.
Not like some of the Harry Potter people did.
So I'm wondering, how bad do you think the slash fic is going to get now that there's like an official manga coming out?
I expect that Slash B will explode.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I don't read Slash fic, so I can't really say. I know people who do. I know people who love it to death, but I don't particularly read it. So
I'm sure once this comes out, I might.
I will want to read the actual. I want to see their adaptation of it. I want to see if they're going to how closely they follow the British series.
Of course, after it comes out, I might tempt or might dare myself to head over to fanfiction.net just to see what happens.
Oh God.
If I don't come back, I'm sorry.
How many Mary Jane stories are you going to find? A ton of. No, I'm sorry, not Mary Jane. Mary Sue. Mary Sue is when you incorporate yourself into the story. Yeah, how many of those are you going to come across? You know what's? Although, speaking of Sherlock, switching just a little bit, the American ripoff is getting ready to launch.
Yeah.
I actually, only because of who's in it, I want to see it.
Refresh my memory.
Well, Lucy Liu is playing Watson. It's a female Watson.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And as if that wasn't weird enough, Sherlock it's almost like Monk in some ways, the way they portray him in the commercial that I've seen.
Okay.
Johnny Lee Miller. Yes. Crash Override is Sherlock.
Okay, I might have to watch an episode just for the lol factor.
Yeah, I actually want to see it and see if it. I'm not expecting it to follow the stories.
Oh no, not anyway.
Very, very close to who is a severe Sherlock Holmes fan, and you're focused.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I moved. That's why.
And I know for a fact that she is going to despise it, and I won't necessarily blame her. But yeah. I want to see it just for the lull factor because I think sacred cows taste good with barbecue sauce. So it should be a fun ride. To see how they run with it, and hear Crash Override speak with a British accent. Most people aren't going to be used to that.
Oh, okay.
They're going to think he's faking it when it's his natural accent.
I'll give it at least an episode.
Have you seen Trainspotting yet?
Trainspotting? Yeah, I love Trainspotting.
Oh, he's in that too.
Oh,
you didn't know
that's
that
right.
he's in that?
That's right. Holy.
He's in that. I think he's in Boondock Saints.
Yeah, I think he's in Boondock Saints. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Johnny Lee Miller's got quite the backing behind him. So it should be interesting.
Okay. I will give that a shot. But yeah, so Sherlock, the official manga adaptation, is coming out October 4th in Japan. So I'm sure there'll be scanlations of it October 5th.
I was going to say, have they announced an American
they
carrier?
Have not. So
which one? I bet BBC America would grab it.
It wouldn't be surprising if they did.
It'd be kind of cool if they did, actually. Or better yet, Sherlock the anime. You know it's a logical step.
It is a logical step.
It'll be
especially if you can get these voice actors to actually voice the roles.
Now that would be awesome if they did it. If they did a Sherlock,
that worked out so well for Supernatural, the anime.
Match and Freeman do their voices,
mm-hmm.
or the guy who does Moriarty.
Oh God.
Who's just all kinds of.
Just imagine in an anime adaptation where they like try to look or to take a peek into Moriarty's mind. How much of a mind frag would that be?
You know who has to do it then.
Well, there's Gynax. There's.
I was gonna say it has to be Gynax at that point,
mm-hmm.
because nobody does mindfuck like Gynax.
That's very true.
Gynax and Production IG. Production IG is good mindfuck. So.
Well, speaking of Production IG, going to a nice little tangent there, or transition. We were talking about an Anna break about how the Mass Effect anime, which is basically a prequel to Mass Effect 3, is being delayed till December. We showed you the first trailer, which hit back in July. There's actually a new, a new trailer that came out semi-recently that showcases a little more on the story rather than just like, ooh, shiny.
Tell me you're going to run it.
Oh, of course I'm going to run it.
Hey.
So let's go ahead and play this.
At the time, I thought I was making the right decision. Now, I just don't know.
Vega, hell of a battle there, son. That's the kind of leadership I'd expect from a veteran.
You gotta be ready for anything. You think I'm ashamed to show respect for someone who saved billions of lives?
Bastards are currently laying siege to our colony on Fel Prime.
Man, there's swarms of them up there. You ever seen these things before?
No, never.
Entire colonies vanishing overnight? I thought it was just a silly rumor.
I remember you. The Alliance Marines who bested the Blood Pack and their Battlemaster Vega.
I know how hard you try to protect everyone. Sometimes circumstances make that impossible.
What I see here is a squad of highly trained special forces. But you're not warriors. Not yet. Today we find out what you're made of, Marine. It's time to earn that uniform.
Do you think I made the wrong decision?
So they're focusing on Vega, not Shepard.
Right.
That explains why they don't have all the voice actors. By the way, I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, I like that. That is awesome.
Sorry,
What's interesting is, Vega in the game was actually voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr.
Right, he's coming back to reprise his role.
And you probably heard several
That's why I was hoping to hear David Keith and some of the other actors in there, too. Or Seth Green as Joker.
That would be cool, having Joker back.
Have Joker in it?
I don't know. Well, because the fact that it's not going to be about...
Yeah, but can you do a Mass Effect story and not have them at least in a flashback?
Something
or
has to be something in there
that references Shepard and the crew?
And there was a couple very popular anime voice actors who I heard in there. I heard Crispin Freeman in there.
I was going to say, I know I heard Freeman in there.
I know Vic's in it in one form or another. So I forget what role Vic has in this, so... But
probably the shortest pipsqueak in this. He has this knack for playing tiny characters.
Now, the fact that the title of the movie is Mass Effect Paragon Lost, does this mean we're going to see Vega go complete renegade throughout the entire movie?
Well, okay, see, I know loosely who Vega is, but I haven't encountered him yet in Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
I know that this bridges the gap between 2 and 3.
Right.
But Paragon Lost implies that it's a Spectre losing it.
Now, there was
At this point in the game, the only human Spectre is Shepard. I understand Ashley becomes one at some point, but I think that's in Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, I think that's in 3.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it.
Sega fan says Vic is Soldier A. No, I think he would definitely want something more prominent than that.
With Milky Holmes as back.
Oh, good times.
Good times.
Okay. What else shall we talk about? Yes. Michael, have you ever heard of Marduk Scramble?
I've heard of it. I have not seen it. I hear it's awesome.
Okay. It is unbelievably awesome. I remember I had one of my former roommates, Carolee. She was like, "Okay, I'm gonna watch this, this series." I'm like, "You do realize it's a 3-part movie series?" "Oh, really?" Aw. Because in the first and second,
broke her brain.
No, it didn't break her too much. She was just pissed for the sole fact that in usual trilogies you have a little story that happens in between, for each piece of the franchise, and then you have something that ties in all three.
The overarching arc, right?
Marduk Scramble, no. It was literally you're watching, and it's not much of a spoiler.
So it's Act 1, Act 2, Act 3.
Not even that. There's basically here for the first movie, which was awesome, highly detailed, great action, and it's like almost mid of an action sequence. You're like, he's ready to, you know, fight this person, to go into it, and scene, and there's credits. I'm like, the hell? There's no end. It just stops.
So it DBZs you.
Oh, it massive DBZs.
Does it take 5 episodes to pass 15 seconds? Only 5 seconds left till the planet explodes. 3 episodes later, 2 seconds remain.
It could. But the final part, which is called Marduk Scramble Third Exhaust, is actually coming out the end of this month in Japan. I'm really hoping like maybe Crunchyroll or Funimation or Viz or somebody will pick it up and stream it stateside before the end of this year. Because damn it, I want to see the end of this freaking awesome trilogy.
Have 1 and 2 been released stateside yet?
1 has, I believe. I don't think 2 has yet.
Was it funny?
Oh, was it funny?
As in Funimation?
I don't remember. Well, here, I'll play the trailer and then I'll find out for you. So,
okay.
Here's the trailer for Marduk Scramble Third Exhaust. Yes.
Yeah, I'm right there with Sega Fan and Tanuki Works. I'm like, Casino Royale much? That's exactly what was going through my brain when they posted that.
It definitely has that feel to it.
And let's push somebody off a bridge.
Oh yeah, there's tons of, you know, death.
Ted Kennedy tribute, and then.
Well, when the fact that the whole trilogy is based off a former prostitute who was murdered and brought back as a cyborg killer, so.
Oh, is that what the theory is?
Yeah.
Revenge of the Dead chick?
That's basically what happened. She did at the beginning. It's just part of the story that prostitute dies, is revived as a cyborg, and then she's trained to become an assassin. It's awesome.
So it's Casino Royale meets Robo Geisha.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Oh crap! But I was able to look it up that it's Madman Entertainment that actually has actually distributed the disc. It was actually produced stateside by what used to be ADV, is now Section 23 Films.
Does she only hunt people who didn't pick up? I don't know. You might want to ask the Secret Service that. Does she work in Brazil?
Topical humor. No.
Hey, never let it be said we're not intelligent.
Yep, true. Now, the first 2 are available on DVD and, amazingly so, Blu-ray. It looks insanely awesome on Blu-ray. Yeah, first 2 were actually picked up by Sentai and Section 23, so both ADV. You can actually find the first one on Hulu.
Really?
Yeah, it's on Hulu and the Anime
Sub,
Network.
dub.
So yeah.
Sub or dub?
I believe dub.
Dub or wub?
Wub. Here's the best thing. There's actually a director's cut Blu-ray that was released in Japan. So it's Japanese dub. But the official Japanese Blu-ray release has English subs.
Really?
Yes.
You know, I heard some movies were going to start doing that.
So, win. Just import the damn thing.
But expensive.
Oh, it's going to be expensive, but...
Blu-rays in Japan...
$100 for a 2-episode
Blu-ray,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean... you don't want to know how much Hellsing goes for per disc.
I don't want to know. I'm just really thankful that when it comes out in November, it's like $50 for, 4 to 6 episodes?
Of Hellsing Ultimate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I did that.
Speaking of which, you know what we should do in the post-show?
What?
Topic switch. The Hellsing Abridged.
We can show that.
Because bitches love cannons.
Get that bitch a cannon. Oh, I always love the abridged.
We'll show you guys what we're talking about in post-show. Sorry.
Yeah. So, Marduk Scramble is awesome. You can watch the first one on Hulu and the Anime Network. 1 and 2 are available on DVD and Blu-ray, both stateside and in Japan. And the third one's coming out in Japan at the end of this month. So this is awesome. Go watch the first movie on Hulu. If you like it, go find it on DVD and Blu-ray and pick up this thing. You will not be.
Yeah, can't say this enough. Definitely support the local distros. Otherwise, we're not going to get them.
Very true. All right. Should we just finish up stuff from Japan before we jump to NASA and Avengers?
let's do the Miku thing, then talk about the Avengers, and then wrap up with the shuttle.
Okay, so for those of you who have been to, or at least watched online or on a DVD or Blu-ray, however you've seen it, if you've seen a Miku concert, you definitely see basically, what is it? Basically smoked glass, little bit of a curve to it, and you have projectors in the back.
Well, it's funny. I happen to have a little bit of experience with this sort of thing.
That's why I'm asking you, Michael.
Yeah, they usually use what they call the dilat board, which is a partially smoked plastic or plexi that they stretch across a stage, and they have two 12K projectors behind it projecting onto that. If you look at it with the human eye, it looks very transparent. You can clearly see through it, and it's not as impressive. But you put it on camera, and it solidifies for some reason. It's really amazing how that works.
So they decided to maybe one-up or even just try a different approach to how to present Miku in a performance, in a live performance. So the official site of Festival 39, or Sankyo for Miku at the end of summer, posted about a 3 to 4 minute video of their recent event in Yokohama. That was back the end of August. And what they decided to do is, we want to do an outside performance. So we want Miku on a grand scale, so we're not going to use...
But she can only be 54 centimeters high.
Not in this version. Not in this version. This is the attack...
They're making a big deal about
this is Attack of the Giant Miku. They decided to create...
So it's Macro Miku.
Oh, yeah. They decided to create a giant 10-meter water screen. Just spraying water in the air, and they threw the projector on that.
Fantasmic.
Miku is...
That would have been a perfect way to hit the button. You started to crossfade, and boom, there's Miku.
That would be amazing. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like that, like after hours. Like some fan had a little bit of a... Oh, we're going to do a tech test on...
No, it won't do that. They take her... trust me, they take her way serious.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me go ahead and show this video. So it shows a little bit about the event, and then it gets to Giant Miku. So enjoy.
Fantasmic meets Miku.
It really is.
That actually makes for the projecting her through the water like that. It's pretty impressive. I have to admit, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. And I'm sure on the tech side, this got to be like incredibly
cheap. On the tech
cheap.
side, how many fish got sucked into the pump? Because they're doing that because they have to be using river water for that because they're doing it on the river.
It is on the river. And how powerful must be those projectors across the freaking river?
Oh, the projectors?
Yeah.
They're probably using bigger than the dual 12Ks for that.
They would have to.
Although, well, I don't know. I mean, what do they use? I don't know what they use at Disney. So
we know people who actually made them, so we can always ask and find out.
Say, hey, what did you use at Disney? But it looks really cool. That would have been fun to be at.
Oh yeah.
Especially with the lasers and everything.
I'm hoping that they'll maybe continue on with this, make it back almost like a semi-permanent fixture at the location.
Of course it looked blurry. It was projecting on water.
Yeah, you're not going to get HD quality on water. But for what it is, it's actually entertaining. I'm sure if you saw it in person, that'd just be like, wow.
Yeah. Well, it depends on. It also depends on what else they did with it. I mean, that would have been the perfect opportunity for them to throw additional effects in with her. Stuff floating by.
Yeah,
I'd be curious to see the rest of it. But it's neat. It's a neat use of the tech. So
yeah, okay. So it's fun when they try to make use of Miku in different ways. And
yeah.
Whatnot,
in fact, they're evolving what they're doing with it. It's cool. They're not just sitting on their laurels.
Yeah. All right. Let me briefly talk about Ace Attorney 5. Are you not a fan of this series?
I've never played the series.
Really?
I've heard about it. I know what it's about. I think he's absolutely hilarious in Marvel vs. Capcom. When he does an objection and the bad guy gets all slapped by all these subpoenas and
the first 3 games are actually being brought to iOS for iPad in HD.
Yes, I heard about that.
So I think you have now a way to actually play it. The 5th one is coming stateside. It was up in the air whether or not it would show up this year or 2014, because sometimes they take a really long time to port these things over. And let's just face it, in a game like this, there is a crap load of text to actually translate.
Oh yeah.
So And the thing is, they're trying to couple.
Oh, they could do what that one AMV did.
I think I know exactly which one you're talking about. But this one, they're going to change a couple things. Before all the character designs and whatnot were always hand drawn, and it looked really nice. This is one of the first ones. They're going to start using 3D character models.
Well, they built them for Marvel vs. Capcom.
They did. So they probably just used them and ported them over to this one. And it looks
still
kind of
looks
nice.
Good.
It still looks good. I mean, you still get the
Is this going
same
to be on
style.
3DS or the actual Nintendo Wii?
This
or U?
I forget about this part.
3DS? It's what somebody.
I think it's 3DS. Yeah, my bad, because I'm seeing on some of the other
Well, then that's
screens.
probably why they moved to the 3D models.
Yeah. So you still get a very wide berth of emotions you can get out of it.
Oh yeah, totally.
But there's one part in here that a lot of people are wondering what this is about, because there's a number of familiar gestures, objection and all that. But then there's this new gameplay element. We don't know what the hell this is.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, we have different emoticons there, having to do something what's going on in the event. I'm not sure how this is going to,
Maybe you badger the witness till they explode?
badger.
Mushroom.
So they're incorporating a new format or a new gameplay type into it. They're using the 3D models, which look nice, and it is coming stateside. So if you're a big fan of this and you have a 3DS, you're gonna definitely pick this up. Me, I'll probably wait till it comes out on iOS, so I can just play it on my iPad.
Lawyer playing 3DS instead of focusing on trial. Nice.
Okay.
I should probably break down and actually play these games. I've heard a lot. I heard they're fun.
They're entertaining.
That's what I hear. I love the characters, and I love the parodies I've seen, and the AMV, and like I said, it's awesome in Marvel vs. Capcom when he shows up.
Legal document. No.
And just starts slapping people with subpoenas. That's pretty awesome.
All right. Should we move on to Avengers?
Yeah, let's talk about the event.
Let's talk about the Avengers, because this just looks awesome. So,
Hulky goodness.
Yes.
Warning, there's spoiler scene in here.
There is some spoiler scenes in here, yes.
If you haven't seen Avengers yet, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, good point.
If you have seen Avengers, then it doesn't matter. But if you haven't seen Avengers, there's one minor spoiler scene in here.
Okay. Yeah, true. But so the movie's coming on DVD and Blu-ray next, actually this month on the 25th. You can go pre-order it. It starts, or the highest end is $50. I'm probably gonna get the one below that because I don't need the 3D Blu-ray. So
I don't care about the 3D, but I definitely want the Blu-ray.
Yeah, you'll probably go with the middle level, which is a four disc set, and that's still $40. But then again, 4 discs. So, but
that's not bad.
A bunch of the behind the scenes featurettes have been leaked, and some actually officially released. Well, IO9 actually was able to head over to ILM Industrial Light and Magic and talk with the VFX creators about what they've actually been working on in terms of some new ideas that they used in the Avengers. And they released a little video, a little bit of clips of what they did to create some of the memorable
Hulk
scenes.
Yes.
Hulk scenes, not so much on the Iron Man scenes, but this is mostly Hulk. So let's go ahead and watch this.
I love those parts. Those were awesome. What shocks me and impresses me though about that scene in particular is, okay, when I watched the movie, yeah, I knew the Hulk was CG. I knew that. I didn't know that in the scene where he was chasing Black Widow, or I'm sorry, that's not her. What is her damn name? Is it Black Widow?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, well, her. When he's chasing her, I didn't know she was CG.
Mm-hmm. That surprised me as
well. I
well.
thought she was a comp.
Yeah. And considering how close she was to the audience and the screen, that was just, wow, okay.
Yeah, they got that level of realism for what's supposed to be I mean, you can get Hulk looks real and all, but there's still a little bit of uncanny valley you don't have to deal with because you know it's an over-the-top character.
But they tried so hard to give him a different feel than previous Hulks.
And they did a great job. I mean, they did a fantastic job. But with her...
Yeah, that was impressive.
That was... Holy shice. That's... Wow.
I was looking at some of the things they were talking about in the article itself. that, you know, okay, yes, some of Hulk's motions were partially based on apes. I can definitely see that. The fact that they chose to make the Hulk look, or not look, super buff on purpose. He wanted to basically look at someone who didn't look like every time he moved, he was always flexing like he was back in with the Ed Norton Hulk. They wanted more of like a wrestler physique. So you could see a little bit of, not flab on him, but he's not fully chiseled.
Yeah, he's not bodybuilder.
Yeah, but he looks at someone that it gives them a place to grow. So basically, if he's, you know, walking around beating people, okay, he has, you know, the physique. But then when he wants to go batshit insane, he actually has that extra level, and then he can get up there, and it looks, you know, impressive that way.
I can't wait for that to come back on Blu-ray. To come out. I so can't wait.
Yeah, some of the other things they were talking about how RDJ, Robert Downey Jr. ever since Iron Man 1 has never worn a full Iron Man suit since then. So
that we're talking about that. They've been running Iron Man a lot on FX lately, so I watched it the other night, and they do their DVD on TV. And they show behind the scenes features that aren't on the Blu-ray I bought, but okay. I think I'm gonna have to get another Blu-ray to get these features. But they talk about the fact that, you know, initially, you know, Robert Downey had the outfit on, he was trying to walk around, and he's like, you know, really sucks for him to move in it. It's really messed up. And they're like, well, you know, let us try and do parts of it. First they did the helmet only, so that he didn't get his head squished all the time. And then they proved that they could do that really well. They're like, you know what, just let us do the whole goddamn suit. So they put him in the thing with the dots, and
I mean,
ILM outdid themselves on that.
There's a thing that he calls the football suit, where it's a piece of the chest piece, and then a bunch of dots everywhere else, so they can get the realistic glow from the you know, his chest piece into it. Okay, I can see that. The other thing was, every single Avenger had a digital copy. There was so much of a detail that they gathered from each of the performers, that they, in most scenes, they actually replaced the actor or actress with the digital version. Scarlett Johansson, a lot of the scenes where she was as Black Widow going up through all the and then one of the final scenes with the aliens flying through New York, that was CG.
Wow.
The other thing is the one shot, the shot where you had Iron Man and Captain America teaming up for a moment. Captain America was 100% digital.
Wow.
Yeah, he had his own individual shot before, but after watching it initially, I thought, you know what, it doesn't flow well, so let's put him in with another character. So they digitally inserted him into the scene with Iron Man.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Although the last bit I want to say about it is actually when Thor was grabbing, he had Mjolnir to create the storm cloud near the end.
Yeah,
that wasn't CG. They didn't have enough time to actually work on, you know, creating swirling clouds and whatnot.
But his cloud tanked it?
It's stock footage. They found
it's stock footage? I would have figured they'd have done a cloud tank or something, because that's quick and
they found stock footage of it and just used it. It's such a short shot, so they didn't feel the need to actually create it themselves.
Hey, you know what? It worked. That's all. Well, you know, what's the number one? Everyone I know who's worked in the effects industry has said this. You know, the number one rule of anything special effects and or computer graphics, number one rule is cheat. The number two rule is get away with it. Number three rule is, if you can't do number two, see number one.
Gotcha.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
So I'm hoping that a lot of these extra behind the scenes features we're seeing online here and there, it makes its way last minute into the Blu-ray release, because it's already been announced what's going to be part of the Blu-ray bonus features, and I'm not really impressed.
Well, of Avengers?
Of Avengers. In terms of the bonus features. I like to have like that.
If they put things like the Hulk bit in there, that'd be kind of cool to have, but
the main
at least for graphics nerds like me.
Right, exactly. I enjoy the behind the scenes stuff like that. The majority of the bonus features that I've seen so far in the list online is basically an hour and 45-minute featurette on how they brought the comic books to the big screen in terms of more of the story.
Kind of like the crap they did with the Iron Man Blu-ray that I've got?
Kind of, yeah.
They had a whole thing of like the history of Iron Man, which was neat in the sense that, you know, I didn't know that Iron Man always, the thing with his chest has always been part of that character in some form or another
Mhm.
since day one.
Right.
I didn't know that part, but they did an interview on the Iron Man Blu-ray disc where they've got they interview everyone who's ever written for Iron Man and their artists going back to day one and the evolution of it, and that was kind of neat in that sense. But they didn't do jack about the special effects.
Right.
They
And that's what this whole thing's about. It's basically people at Marvel, not necessarily the artists or the writers, but the people who helped produce the film, and basically said, how are we going to take this story arc and move it in with this character? And that's an hour and 40 minutes of that. Yeah,
That's
I was
dumb.
like, I'm not really looking forward to that, so, oh well.
that's kind of.
I'll still buy the Blu-ray because it's freaking the Avengers on Blu-ray. I want
Right.
that part.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things I like about like when you buy a Pixar movie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's a crap load of special features in
Oh yeah,
Pixar
the special
movies.
features in the Pixar movies, and like for example, the ones that came with The Incredibles
Yes.
were awesome. I just again, CG whore. So I just sit and watch those for hours on end, and probably get yelled at by my fiance for doing so. But it's still a
Again,
lot
you
of,
say these things, and she's within striking distance of very sharp objects.
yeah, well, you know, all the knives are on my side of the room. I think.
Okay. As he looks back to make sure. All right. Well, let's.
Hey,
And there it is.
so here we get the beanbag wrist rest.
All right. Well, the last thing we should bring up is a bit of really cool science stuff that you can actually see in real life.
Science.
Science on this show. It's not science fiction.
Science.
It's about the space shuttle Endeavour. And usually when the space shuttle program was still in effect, they would fly, they would land in what, Edwards? Or,
Yeah, they launch a Canaveral. Well, they try to launch a Canaveral.
yeah, try to launch a Canaveral.
Or no, I'm sorry, no, they always launch a Canaveral. They try to land at Edwards. Once or twice they had to land elsewhere due to weather.
Mm-hmm. And then they actually attach the shuttle on the back of a specially designed jet and fly it back
7.7
over.
tons. Yeah.
Well, you know, of course, the shuttle program, sadly, yeah, it's gone and done with. But Endeavour is actually making its way from East Coast to West Coast one final time. And it's going to make kind of a little bit of a final tour, as you could say, for it.
Tell me in SoCal somewhere.
It is going to be in SoCal for a little bit.
When?
Well, let me get through it. It is on September 17th. The Endeavour is going to leave Kennedy's, fly over part of the Space Coast, so Kennedy Space Center, Cape Canaveral, Patrick Air Force Base, and whatnot. And these are like low flyovers, so you can actually on there grab pictures and take cool pictures and whatnot. Then it's going to hit up Texas. It's going to hit the Gulf Coast, Houston, Galveston, Ellington Field near NASA's Johnson Space Center. And then on Wednesday, it'll depart Houston, do a quick refueling stop in El Paso, and then hit up Las Cruces, New Mexico, and then hits up NASA's Dryden Flight Research Center over at Edwards Air Force Base. And then on the 20th, it takes off from Dryden and then goes up north to Northern California. So the closest it's going to get to Southern California is Edwards Air Force Base.
Not true.
Really? Am I reading this wrong?
Media representatives interested in obtaining credentials for Endeavor's arrival at LAX September 20th.
Oh, I didn't see that. Holy crap. Okay, yeah, I know where I'm going to be going.
Social media users are encouraged to share their Endeavor sightings
September
using the hashtags #PoundSpotTheShuttle.
Sweet. I get to see the space shuttle on my birthday. This is going to be awesome.
It gets better, dude. After arrival at LAX, Endeavor will be removed from the SCA, which is the plane that's flown around on, and spend a few weeks at United Airlines hangar undergoing preparations for transport and display. Endeavor will then travel through Inglewood and Los Angeles city streets on a 12-mile journey from the airport to the Science Center,
How did I not
arriving the evening of October 13th.
Okay, I didn't put two and two together. One, I didn't read the entire article straight through. My bad. The second part is that I was hearing about how the Science Center would actually have to spend $500,000 in actually taking down trees and adding to the landscape.
Is that going to be its permanent list? Is that going to be its permanent visit?
I believe it's a permanent spot. Permanent resting spot's going to be.
So it's going to be in downtown LA.
Okay, I didn't put two and two together.
LA, but,
I'm a freaking
Exposition
moron.
Park.
But yeah, this is
Dude,
awesome.
That's a Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
We do the show, hop in the car with cameras,
We could do it.
watch that fucker drive in. That's we got to do this.
Hit it. Watch it land in LAX.
No, that we can't do.
Well, I can do that because that's my birthday. I'm going to be in LAX anyways because I'm supposed to take a flight, possibly to Tucson that night.
What are you going to Tucson for?
Family gathering.
Okay.
I'm not sure whether or not I'm actually going to be able to go to it due to if I get this job or not. So I'll work everything out. But I will be in LAX on my birthday, the 20th, anyway. So I might just stick around with the camera, go on a hill, and just, hey, look, there's this.
Dude, if you do, send me pics. But
yeah.
no,
and then when it makes the trip to down the streets to the Science Center,
that Friday. So we do the show Friday the 12th, find the path, and just go find a place to camp and watch.
I like this idea.
I am down for that. Now, if I could just get the fiance to go with me, that'd be kind of cool.
It's the friggin' space shuttle. You could see it within spitting distance, I think, on a city street.
I think that's pretty.
Yeah, that's just gonna be awesome.
I think you're gonna try and rush and tag it.
I can always throw up there with the sticker back. I'd be arrested on the spot, but
if you weren't shot.
Yeah, that's a good point. I died for science.
But you know what? It actually makes sense that they would put its last resting place in LA because over 90% of its parts were manufactured in LA. In LA aerospace companies.
I wonder if it's actually gonna, because it's right down the street from LAX. I wonder if they'll actually drive the space shuttle right by SpaceX.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, it's right there.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Really awesome facility.
Well, the question comes down to traffic management. Are the roads big enough?
They've already gone through that entire process of where it's going to go.
Well, yeah, they have to determine the path because, because of how tall it's going to be. I mean, they have to move it in its place where it's going to be wide enough, tall enough, no underpasses.
And they've actually already had to readjust the path because the initial path they were going to take, they would have to take down trees that were actually initially planted in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. So
they're not going to do.
They're not going to do that. So they had to reroute someplace else.
I think this is going to be really cool. And you know what? Technically, we kind of count as media representatives.
I think we should. I could always
hit that link up.
I will. Yes, ma'am. We cover science fiction. Science, yes.
Science fiction. Science is part of science fiction. So there you go.
Well, if you guys are watching, if you guys are interested in coming down as well, let us know. Hit us up. We actually have an email address for this now.
OtakuLife camp out for the shuttle trip.
Hey, we can do it now. And if you guys are heading down, let us know. We actually have an email address for this. It's FMMB, from my mother's basement, at otakulife.net.
Right. We have our own email address now.
Yay.
But lower third for it yet.
Yes. Lower it. That's the magic of post. To be like, ooh.
Hey. Right there, boys and girls.
Wow. Now I got to remember to actually put it in now.
Yeah, we kind of put you on the spot there, dude.
All right. But that's it for all the news. I know we went for a good long while today, but that's awesome.
Well, once we finally got running.
Yeah, once we finally got running. But
yeah,
technical issues aside.
I go from post-show to trying to fix my frickin' computer.
All right. But before we end this, as we always wrap it up, what have you been watching, Michael?
I haven't been doing a lot of watching. I was going to try and go out of my way to watch stuff this week, and then my muse hit. So I've been doing a lot of 3D rendering, going through my old files, and building characters for a comic thing I'm working on.
What you showed me so far, looks awesome.
Well, I hope so. Those are all base characters to start with, so I got to put clothes on them. Not one of those kind of parties. So
as I bring it up right now for the viewers to watch, no.
That's entirely up to you, dude. But, yeah. So I've been doing that. I actually watched. It's funny, just time for it to end. I actually watched the first 2 episodes of Stars Are in Stripes on Hulu the other week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I only watched the first 2 episodes because Terry Crews was knocked out in episode 2.
Aww.
And he was the only reason I watched the damn show was Terry Crews. That's another thing. Have you seen the video? The new video he released?
The Old Spice one, the musical one?
With the that you can make music
Yeah,
with it.
that was insane.
Oh my god, that thing's on crack.
Old Spice at its finest.
Oh, that's an awesome because it makes a Sarah thing. Oh yeah, that's pretty
Flaming sax solo.
cool. Flaming sax solo. Yeah, the whole big thing with the eyes open up with the spinning balls.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna have to put a link to that in the show notes.
I'll put a link to it in the show
That's
notes.
what we need to do show notes.
I need to put them in there, yes.
But other than that, I haven't been watching a lot this week. I plan on watching stuff in the not too distant future because there's a lot of stuff I want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to marathon more Tiger and Bunny, I think.
Yes, very much so. I'm looking forward to this Saturday. I want to see Doctor Who talk about dinosaurs on a spaceship.
Dinosaurs in space. Yes, that's going to be awesome. Now that I have been watching. I watched the Doctor Who thing.
Asylum of the Daleks, the first episode of the new season. Yeah, that was...
Not everybody agrees with me on the thing with Oswin. I felt she was pretty cool. Is it me, or is she Christina Ricci in a red dress?
She is. It's the face.
It's Wednesday Addams, only not so morbid.
Yeah.
And kind of hot. But...
And makes souffles.
And makes souffles. No, it burns souffles.
Okay, burns souffles, yes.
Where does she get the milk? That's a loaded line.
That's a loaded, yeah.
Oh my god, that's a loaded line. But at the same time, again, I want to see how Moffat writes his way out of it.
He needs to incorporate this one way or the other. He needs
I
to.
am right. That's the same actress and the same character. That's the new companion, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the hipster companion.
Which is why everyone's like, "Why? I can't talk about." We'll talk about it in post show when we have spoilers there. I can't in the show.
Yeah. Let's not put spoilers in the show,
as we already have. But anyways, as for me, I just recently my Crunchyroll account expired for like a week, so I just renewed it last night and then proceed to marathon to catch up several different series. Sword Art Online continues to be the best anime series this season.
Seriously? Because I've heard a lot of not so good things about it.
I'm really enjoying it. I consider it to be the best one of this season.
Okay.
Followed shortly by the Ambition of Oda Nobunaga. That's been entertaining. It is a harem anime, but it doesn't focus on the harem aspect. So it's nice. I enjoy that.
When does that robot thing come out? The Steins Gate meets Angel.
Robotics Notes
meets Angelic Layer.
Robotics Notes. I think in October it starts.
Okay.
So the beginning of the
But am I right? Is it Steins Gate meets Angelic Layer?
Well, it's the sequel to Steins Gate. It's the spiritual sequel. Yeah, but yeah, it is. So. Okay. And considering in the latest videos where they're kind of like a Gundam reference into it, it's like,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see that. For some reason, I'm still watching Kokoro Connect, which is that body swapping one.
The one that you can't help but complain about, yet you still go back and watch it.
Okay, it's one of those that it's like a train wreck. You can't pull yourself away. You have to keep on watching just to see how bad it gets.
I
will admit the last episode that they had on last night got dark, and I was like, not like surprised, ooh, it got dark, but like finally something's happening that's not one dimensional.
So you feel about that the way I felt about Dead Man Wonderland.
Yeah, exactly. I forced you to watch Dead Man Wonderland, and you hated me for it.
I don't hate you for it. I just was completely unimpressed with that series. I love its opener. Oh my god, its opener is awesome.
Great.
But the series itself, I was completely unimpressed with.
Which I still find funny about the intro, because we're going on a tangent real quick, about the intro to Dead Man Wonderland, is actually, it's a band comprised of members from Europe, the United States, and some in Japan. But it's initially a group from Europe that they basically acquired the rights to the song and then hired the band to sing different lyrics, but the exact same music.
It sounds like a mix between Soundgarden and something else.
I've actually found, I think I gave it to you. I might not. I actually found that band's actual album.
Oh, cool.
So I'll have to hand that over to you if you want to give it a listen.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, Coco Connect, yeah, that's my Dead Man Wonderland.
So stop watching it.
I watch it for the pain.
Find another stream.
I mean, I can always go back to Yuri Yuri, which is just middle school girls' version of Haruhi or K-On! Or anything like that.
As long as it's not Ryokubo. I'm sorry.
I stopped.
8-year-old girls playing volleyball should not have boobs that size. I'm sorry.
Science! No.
Science. No. McDonald's!
There was a point in Ambition of Oda Nobunaga where the main male character accidentally, touches one of the girl's boobs, and one of the little sisters goes, "You can't touch those and whatnot. They're ugly and horrible." And he turns around and, I shit you not, states that they're not just made out of fat. They're filled with man's hopes and dreams.
I've seen that floating on the net.
I saw that
True.
image. I was like, wait a minute, is that actually in the series? And I watched the episode, and yes, it is.
Nice.
The last thing is, I stopped watching Total Eclipse. That is a piece of shit. And I gave it a good run.
You have to get some crap too.
I gave it a good run. I gave it 7 episodes, and the last 3 were nothing but a beach episode.
Was it bouncy?
Very.
Was it more bouncy?
More bouncy. Deadpool.
Nikki found it's been reading it.
Yeah, I gave her the link so you can start reading it. Yeah.
Let's get through this and get the post.
Okay. But yeah, Total Eclipse, piece of shit. I cannot stand that series. I'm glad I dropped it. And if more stuff like that becomes the norm, I'm just out. Forget it. To the where some guys have too many hopes and dreams put on girls. Sometimes, Nikki, yes. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So, good episode. Lot of interesting stuff. Ow, why is my computer acting up again? My bad. I hate my computer.
Sorry. I'm looking at the notes. LAPD received reports of a missing space shuttle. The unit was found the next day with its wings stripped and the engine removed.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Ruben.
Launched missiles at the crypts.
All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with this. This has been an absolute blast, as always.
Yeah, once I got going, it was great.
Yeah. Hey, it wouldn't be a show if we didn't have any technical difficulties.
That's true, but I'll get the computer back up and running, and because damn it, I'm not gonna let my muse go stupid again.
I'm enjoying what's coming out of your muse so far. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We'll see where it goes.
All right, everybody, stay tuned for a short post show, and as always, you can catch us every Friday at 7 o'clock. So, from our mother's basement, I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And we will see you next week. Later, everybody.